Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have like the latest on the heat wave that is going to be arriving over the coming days. As we head towards tomorrow afternoon, Monday afternoon, we're likely to see those temperatures skyrocket in towards the high 20s, 28, 29 degrees. We could possibly even see a 30 degrees tomorrow. Now, since the update that we put out yesterday, the models have actually increased the top temperature by about a degree or two, now looking at maybe 32 or 33, yesterday showing 31, and the longevity of this heat wave has increased on the latest runs as well. We were very uncertain yesterday whether we were going to see that heat sustain after Thursday, Friday time, as there was the risk of a few thundery showers, but majority of the runs, short-range runs, long-range runs, and ensembles are starting to show that heat lasting into the weekend for breaking down around 7 or 8 days' time, next Sunday, Monday time. And again, I said it could be upgraded further, but unlikely that we would have a heat wave lasting more than about 7 days. So it is likely to at least get to next weekend before breaking down into the following week. So have a look at the latest from the live radar, see what the temperatures are today, look at the latest UKV, have a look at the precipitation over the next 5 days. There are a few thunderstorms, perhaps around later part of the week, and of course have a look at those temperatures, and then we'll finish up by looking at the longer range runs, looking at the temperatures as we head into next weekend, and have a look at how the system could break down, this high pressure system could break down, so it could be a really quite lively breakdown in that longer term period. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. So we start on the live radar. You can see high pressure is building in at the moment. Few patchy showers across the north of Scotland, but most areas are bone dry with plenty of beautiful sunshine. As of just before 4 PM, you can see the temperatures are starting to significantly rise today. We're looking around the mid-20s today, 24, 25, 26, so warm, above average, but nothing ridiculous yet. That heat, that proper heat, summer heat, is arriving tomorrow. We see up and down the country, especially across parts of England and Wales, those temperatures are starting to get into those darker reds, indicating temperatures in the mid-20s, maybe even touching high 20s in a few isolated spots. Even up towards eastern Scotland as well, starting to see those temperatures rise, and it's going to be a very warm next 7 days. You can see the hot air mass heading our way across much of France with this southerly push. Now, if you go over to the UKV, you can see there was a bit of rain across the northern parts of Scotland through the morning, but it's now cleared, and you can see most areas are in some beautiful sunshine through this afternoon with very warm conditions. Into tomorrow, a very similar picture. Beautiful sunshine, wall-to-wall sunshine, very little cloud in the sky, and very warm, hot temperatures, as I said, maybe even touching the 28, 29 or 30 degree mark. As we head into Tuesday, it's going to be a repeat. Again, beautiful sunshine, especially for southern and eastern areas. Maybe a bit of cloud in the west, but still pretty decent. And again, temperatures into the high 20s, if not touching 30 degrees. And as we head into Wednesday, this could be where we start to reach the peak temperatures, looking at 30, 31 degrees on Wednesday. But because of the increased upper air temperatures, increased humidity as the hottest air moves in, there is the risk of a few thunderstorms and some high-level cloud as well. And now we can have a look at Thursday, where we are actually seeing even higher temperatures. I said yesterday the models were peaking on Wednesday, but they're keeping that hot air in for Thursday and maybe even Friday. So at this stage on the latest UKV, Thursday is looking the hottest day. However, with the hottest air, the highest humidity, we are seeing a few heavy thundery showers break out. And again, I won't have a look at these in too much detail as they are shifting quite significantly between runs. They may occur, they may not occur, or they may be quite substantial. We can't say for certain at this stage, as there is still 4 or 5 days away, and it is chopping and changing significantly between runs. All we can say for definite is there's going to be an incredibly hot air mass around, and it's going to give very hot conditions where we do avoid those thunderstorms, and it will continue into Friday as well. Now we can see the upper air temperatures at the moment hotting up around the 10 to 12 degree mark quite widely, maybe touching slightly higher in a few spots, even across eastern Scotland, 15, 16 degrees through today. Rising though as we head into tomorrow, and by tomorrow afternoon we're around the 15-16 degree mark, maybe even slightly higher across the far south, and that hottest air starts to arrive into Tuesday. Look at that 18 to 20 degrees and establish itself for Wednesday, and Thursday keeps getting pushed up from the south, lasting all the way into Friday with intense hot air still in the southeast by Friday early morning. You can just see a glimmer of cooler air to the north and west of Scotland. That is going to be slowly nudging its way through the weekend, probably pushing through Sunday at the earliest, more likely Monday or Tuesday. And of course, the southeast is going to hang on to that hot air for longer periods of time. So as I said, we could see 30 degrees for maybe 5 consecutive days, Wednesday all the way through to Sunday. Now, about another big thing with the temperatures is the dew points. It's going to make it feel extremely humid. Look at these dew points, widely mid to high teens. So we're going to make it very difficult for sleeping. So it's going to be a very humid, hot spell, not a dry air. It's very humid, very muggy, making it feel hotter than it actually is. That feel-like temperature will be a couple of degrees higher than the actual surface temperatures. Now, if you look at those 2 meter temperatures, you can see this afternoon peaking around the low to mid 20s, maybe 24, 25 degrees, very warm, above average, a very pleasant early September day. But this is the start of quite an exceptionally hot spell, and you can see by Monday afternoon, temperatures just about peaking at widely high 20s, locally 28, 29 degrees. We could even just about push 30 degrees in 1 or 2 spots. Overnight temperatures dropping maybe down to the 14 or 15 degree mark at best for many parts of England, Wales, Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland. Scotland still got a cooler night, but many areas keeping pretty muggy. And by Tuesday afternoon you can see 28, 29 degrees once again. And Wednesday we start to peak those temperatures. Look at that. Widely 28, 29 across many parts of England, into parts of Wales, and touching 30 or 31 degrees in the southeast. And that only increases for Thursday. Thursday overnight temperatures, look at that 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. temperatures, widely 20 plus degrees across much of central England. Insanely hot conditions, extremely muggy, extremely difficult for sleeping. That's going to be a big issue for the latter part of this working week, Wednesday through towards the weekend. It's going to be very difficult sleeping, very hot in the day, but no respite overnight with those temperatures, getting to pretty much average or above average September highs. That's what we're looking at for the overnight temperatures. So 19, 20 degrees would be a decent September day at 3 p.m, not at 3 a.m, which is what is looking likely for this period. And Thursday temperatures even higher, a huge swathe of 30 to 32 degrees across much of England into Wales, widely even further northwards, mid to high 20s, insanely hot conditions. And again, I do say very, very hot conditions, not only because this is a very hot spell, but it is September. We have to remember that. If this sort of heat wave with these sort of upper air temperatures occurred in July, we would be looking probably at about 5 degrees added onto these temperatures, pushing the high 30s, maybe even just about touching 40 degrees with some of these hottest air. But fortunately, it is September, so it's still very hot, just not quite as hot as it could have been earlier in the summer season. But if we do now have a look at some of the longer range, we'll be able to see how this heat wave does evolve and how it could potentially break down into next weekend and the following week. High pressure builds in and is building in at the moment. Southerly push comes through the early part of the week, and that pushes the very hot air in, and it stays towards the southerly all the way towards the end of the week. Very hot, very dry as well. Into the weekend, the southerly gets cut off a bit, so the upper air temperatures will start to lose their heat, but it will still create very hot conditions at the surface, still looking perhaps at 30 degrees for Saturday and maybe even into Sunday as well. For low pressure develops to our west, very intense low pressure could develop with cold air coming out of Greenland and hot air coming out of the south, spinning up low pressure systems, giving us a very stormy pattern and potentially some big thunderstorms as well. Beyond that, we see actually a bit of a repeating pattern of high pressure trying to build in and trying to push in more southerly winds with pretty hot air reoccurring. But as we head towards the latter part of September, a lot of that hot air to the south does run out. But if we do have a look at the heat wave, you can see the 20-degree isotherm moves in and sticks around for much of this working week. Into the weekend, you can see the upper air temperatures do degrade away, looking more at mid-teens around the upper airs, but at the surface we are heated up so much that the upper air temperature is dropping slightly, doesn't make too much of a difference, and you can see that hot air slowly gets swept away, and by Monday afternoon, just about hanging on in the far east, so still could be hot on Monday, but for most areas swept away through Tuesday into Wednesday. And if we do have a look at the 2 meter temperatures at the surface, you'll be able to see it is going to be extremely hot. If we look at Monday afternoon's peak temperatures, widely 27 or 28. Remember, locally will be slightly higher than these GFS numbers because they are low resolution. Tuesday afternoon, again 28, maybe touching 30 degrees along the south coast, and up towards Wednesday afternoon, even higher, 30 to 32, ridiculously heat being observed there. And by Thursday, look at that, midday, widely 28 to 30, once again 30 or 31. Friday, still very hot, but slowly sinking a little bit as those upper air temperatures do start to wane, but still 28 to 30. Finally into Saturday and Sunday, still 27 to 29, and Sunday at 3 p.m, still looking at a 28 or 29, and Monday could just about nudge the high 20s in the far east for lowering, and you can see by Tuesday, a much fresher high teens, low 20s for the west, maybe still hanging on to the high 20s in the far east. Now if you look at the GM, see how that does compare. Again, high pressure building in, southerly winds start pushing in, and then eventually, as we head towards the weekend, high pressure still holds on for big low pressure moves in off the Atlantic into early part of next week, bringing in a fresher air mass, but also could kick off some big thunderstorms as well. Again, we're not focusing on those yet, and that is because it's still 7 days away. There still is a lot of uncertainty, still a lot of things to play out, and that exact breakdown hasn't been deciphered yet. You can see by the GFS and GM here, they're completely different with the way they break down. Both agree low pressure would move in around a Monday, Tuesday time with fresher air, but very much disagree on the exact pattern of that low. But you can see hot air gets swept away. But you can see the 20-degree isotherm is there, and the 15-degree isotherm holds until about Monday before getting swept away. Again, if we look at the 2 meter temperatures from this latest GM run, again you can see into tomorrow afternoon we're going to see temperatures set high 20s, 27, maybe 28. Into Tuesday, again 27, 28. Wednesday looking at 30, 31 in the southeast. GM has been slightly lower than the other runs, so I would take that into account a little bit. And finally into Thursday and Friday, 30, 31 on Thursday, and Friday once again high 20s, 27 to 29, and you can see the Saturday temperatures starting to lower a bit, still 28, 29 in a few spots, and Sunday lowering as well, maybe more 25 to 27, and Monday slowly getting swept away, looking more at the mid to low 20s. So you can see both GFS and GM agree, top temperatures in that low 30s, GM around the 31 degree range, GFS 32, maybe could nudge a 33, and we saw from the UKV looking at 32 as well. Finally, the ECMWF, in agreement with a very strong southerly wind this week. High pressure continuing to hold on all the way through to the weekend, and eventually low pressure will sweep through next Monday into Tuesday, looking the most likely scenario. And again, look at the upper air temperatures, much fresher air moves in, well below average there, but you can see through much of the weekend we're still in that 15-degree isotherm area, keeping it very hot all the way until Sunday. The 2 meter temperatures, if we have a look at that, we'll be able to see that Monday afternoon we're looking once again at high 20s, 26, 27. Tuesday once again 27, 28. Wednesday nudging maybe slightly higher, touching 28, 29 or 30. Remember, these are low resolution runs, especially the GM and the ECMWF. You can see how far apart the temperatures are, again showing that at higher resolution scale, the likely temperatures are slightly higher. Thursday afternoon, again looking at 28, 29, 30 degrees possible. Friday, again high 20s, starting to drop a little bit. Saturday, again can't have a look at the 3 p.m. temperatures, but once again would be high 20s. And finally Sunday, again high 20s, before slowly dropping off through Monday into Tuesday. Now just to finish up, if we finally have a look at the ensemble, you can see the heat wave shown here The 1991-2020 mean here shows the upper air temperature should be about 7 or 8 degrees on average. We're looking at 12 degrees above that, maybe even higher, with the upper air temperatures peaking around the 20 to maybe as high as 22 degree range for Wednesday and Thursday. And you can see the upper air temperatures fall off very slowly, only dropping below the 15 degree isotherm in 8 days' time for London, which is next Monday. And we only in that period we sweep down to generally average, with some below average, but still a considerable number above average and staying above average for much of the middle of September. The upper temperatures are above average at the moment, that's why it's pretty hot this Sunday and will be hot tomorrow. But I said the peak temperatures arriving on Wednesday. Bone dry as well, but still quite considerable spikes appearing next Sunday through to Tuesday, again indicating there is perhaps a big thunderstorm risk and a big shower risk in general as that hot and humid air gets shifted away. The humidity temperatures are extremely high. Look at that, widely high 20s. Again, these are low resolution ensemble members at the 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. point, not even picking up the peak temperatures of the day around the 3 or 4 p.m. point. So we are looking at a couple of degrees higher than this, most likely. Again, low 30s, very likely. The dew points insanely high, mid-teens as well, making it feel really muggy. And finally, if we compare it to the ECMWF ensemble members, exactly the same, peaking around the 21-22 degree mark for Wednesday, Thursday, and only dropping down towards the 15 degree mark and lower, down towards average by next Monday, Tuesday time, with considerable precipitation indicating perhaps quite a big breakdown. You can see the sharp drop in those upper air temperatures. The sharper that drop, the more substantial cold front will move through, and that cold front will contain heavy showers and some big storms if this does come off, as it is looking likely at this stage. We will have to keep you up to date on that, as it still is around 7 days away, and we'll have to keep a very close eye on how that does develop. But for the meantime, big heat wave arriving tomorrow, with heatwave conditions literally arriving tomorrow. Remember, 28 degrees is the heatwave threshold for London, and we're likely to break that tomorrow. And many other areas, heatwave thresholds are lower. So heatwave thresholds starting to be broken tomorrow. And of course, probably an official heatwave will be Wednesday, when we have 3 consecutive days. But this hot spell will likely last all the way to Sunday, and maybe Monday or Tuesday for eastern areas. So at least 7 days, maybe as much as 9 days of bone dry heat to start September. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you have enjoyed. Make sure you do subscribe if you're new. Make sure you stay safe in this heat. Stay hydrated. And of course, do wear your sunscreen, even though it is September. Still high UV levels around as well. But as I said, see you again for another video soon.